Hello and welcome to the Alula webinar. Today we are talking about how to supercharge your marketing with Alula's new Partner Program and Partner Resource Center. My name is Kevin Hoffman and I am the Content Marketing Manager for Alula, and I'm delighted to have you here today. On the agenda, we will be covering several key topics. First, we'll give you a quick introduction to Alula. Then we'll talk about our new tagline, Professional Smart Security. With that, we'll also be talking about why we put professionals first. We'll take a look at our new ad campaign. Then we're going to look at our Partner Resource Center. We'll also show you a 4-step process for creating marketing materials. And then we'll also take you through the Alula Pro Partner Program. And as always, we'll save plenty of time at the end for your questions and answers. So go ahead, type into your chat box any marketing questions you may have during the presentation, and we'll make sure to get you answers. Today we've got two experts with us today. One is Brad LaRock. He is the Vice President of Marketing for Alula, and he's also my boss. He's got 18-plus years of experience in marketing and technology and the SaaS space, and he's got deep experience in both B2B and B2C marketing. Welcome to the webinar, Brad.
Hey, Kevin. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here today.
Awesome. We've also got with us today Thomas Pedro. He's the Senior Manager of Partner Marketing for Alula. He's got 10-plus years in digital marketing and e-commerce, and he's got experience in partner support and channel enablement. Thanks for being here, Thomas.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Excited.
All right, before we get started, Brad, can you take us through Alula and how this company got formed?
Yeah, you bet, Kevin. Listen, many of you have been with us on some of these webinars, but if it is the first time for you, you may be more familiar with some of our historical information. We've got two companies that have come together here, IP Datatel and Resolution Products, to form what we have, which is Alula. IP Datatel really deep on the networking and the communicator side of the business. Resolution Products deep on the sensors, translators, a real deep engineering DNA across both sets of companies. And frankly, one of the things that really drew me to join Alula when I had the opportunity to do that. We bring these pieces together to really form the all-in-one that we bring to market today, which is the best of the network and the best of the products to reach that network to enable that Alula experience. And obviously, we're getting a lot of really nice attention in the space today, and we're thrilled that you all could be here spending a little bit of time with us. We've got an opportunity for a little Q&A at the end, but we're excited to spend some time with you. And Kevin, anything you want to add to that?
No, Brad, that was a great overview, and it takes us right into our next slide. I think those of you who may be familiar with Alula may see a difference here right underneath our logo. You may be used to seeing simplifying security there, but now you're seeing professional smart security. So, Brad, why don't you tell us about the thinking behind this new tagline?
You bet. Thanks, Kevin. You know, we've been bringing a lot of new things to market lately, whether you've been with us for some of the launch of the Connect family of products. You've been learning some of the things that we're doing in the network space, even some new things that we're exploring on the cellular space. But all of this is being built for our professional security and integrators today. And that was really some of the thinking that we started with when we started to redesign how we might approach our message and market. We really are focused on the professional security provider. And to that end, we decided to put that in the tagline and move that first. It is one of the things that I think makes us unique in the space, but more importantly, one of the things that we think is very important as we approach the market. This professional security provider is becoming more and more important every day. Smart is obviously speaks to how the space is expanding. This IoT platform that we're bringing to market is really starting to enable some interesting experiences, not only for the consumers, but also our dealer partners who are leveraging some of the back-end technologies that we have. And of course, security really speaks to the heritage that we have here, and you know, we're thrilled to be part of this community. We think it's very important to really stay focused on our markets, and maybe even more important to elevate the professional security dealer in today's space. So that's really some of the baseline thinking behind what we did here. We're trying to stay very focused and want to make sure that that's very clear to the market. So we decided it was time for a little bit of a refresh here.
That's right, Brad. We are 100% partner-focused here at Alula. We put the professional first, and now that's reflected in our tagline. So why do we put the professional first? Brad, why don't you talk us through why we think it's very important for professionals to be involved in smart security?
Yeah, security is obviously a growing space for consumers today. I think it's becoming a more complicated space potentially for users that are getting approached with marketing from large DIY companies. And it's frankly getting a little redefined and a little muddy, which is why we think the best security really is being provided by today's professionals. And what we aim to do at Alula is make sure that we are helping keep them ahead of that technology curve, bringing them new solutions to market to make their life a little bit easier, and ultimately, giving them the ability to go compete with some of those bigger companies today. What we've seen is some of those larger DIY companies, they're not only very good at some of the technology that's in the market, but they're better at marketing that technology to consumers. And that's where I think this professional dealer really has the ability to separate themselves. They are specialists in that security space. You all you see that every day. And I think that's your edge, that and your local service. And we think it's important for you to lean into that as we move into what this next phase of the security market looks like. And we're bringing some new tools to bear here, and obviously are very supportive of how you all approach the market today. So we want to make sure you understand that, and we want to demonstrate that for you.
Well said, Brad. And it's important to know that we also put our money where our mouth is, and that includes our marketing budget. So we've got a really exciting new campaign that we're coming out this year. We're calling it Real Partners, Real Pros. Brad, why don't you talk about the activation of this campaign?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. This is actually one of my favorites. Getting the chance to work hand in hand with a lot of our dealer partners today is a lot of fun for me. And this idea that we can actually bring them forward and help demonstrate their business in the space and why it's important for what they're doing is probably some of the more rewarding stuff for me. So we had this opportunity actually with Floyd, neighbors of ours, right here in Minneapolis, to bring them forward and help share a little bit of that story of theirs and really give them some exposure as part of being a partner with us. And that was really what kind of came behind this. But again, it's not us. It's about our partners, and where we get the chance to bring them forward, we're gonna do that every chance we get. Whether it's in a trade magazine experience like this, or in a panel that we might sit on, or a face-to-face engagement that we may have at one of the big shows like ISC West that's coming up, or even a little bit of video work that we may do with some of our partners. Any chance that we can get to demonstrate their value to the market is very important to us, and that was really some of the thinking behind what we were doing here. We hope you like what we had to bring here. This is obviously the first foray for us into that, but I'm thrilled to see how this is coming together.
Yeah, Brad, to that end, any of you out there who are listening, we'd love for you to take a picture of your team with your logo holding some Alula gear and send it to us at kevin.hoffman@alula.net. We would love to use that on our website, on our Facebook page, and possibly even in a nationally distributed magazine. But I just mentioned our website, Brad. This is a very exciting thing that we just launched. I want you to take us through the new website, all the things that are different about it.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. We for those that may have not recognized this, we started out at alula.net, but we have moved to alula.com. All of our properties that historically came along with those partners with those parties have now been moved to alula.com. So I'm thrilled to have everything in one place. That's a very important piece for many of our partners today, making sure they've got access to the information that they need when they can get their hands on it. And that's what we really tried to do with this site, is we've built it for our partners, for our professional partners. And you'll find really interesting sections in here, specifically around resources. Obviously, we've done a lot of webinar work as of late, and you'll find all of that content there, which I hope you'll find useful. But we like to bring forward new things too. So you'll find rebate programs and other programs that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But really, it's meant to be a one-stop shop for our professional providers today, not only to give them what they need, but also help them reach their customers in new ways too. So I'm really thrilled with how it's come out. It's clean. I hope everyone is enjoying it. And I've personally got a lot of feedback already from a number of our partners. So if you get the chance and you're out there and you have some ideas about how maybe this might work for you better, or things that you're really enjoying out there and you just like to see a little bit more of it, I would love to hear about that. I know Kevin would, Thomas would, anybody from the team. But it was a bit of a labor of love to get this built for you, and I'm thrilled with how it came out. I'm really excited to see how that works for you in the space.
Yeah, you can check that out at alula.com. We'd love to hear your feedback either in the comments or in the survey that you get after this webinar, or just send us an email, kevin.hoffman@alula.com, or you could also send it to marketing@alula.com. Let's see. Next up, we're going to talk about Alula's Partner Resource Center. Thomas, this is your baby, so why don't you give us a high-level look at what this is, why it is, and what we can find there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kevin. Excited for this opportunity to share some of the things that we have available exclusively for our partners. So the Resource Center is really designed to be the central spot for everything our partners need to get the most out of their experience with Alula. So it's designed to be interactive, intuitive, and easy to use. Includes things like data sheets and install guides and webinars and training videos and really everything in between.
Thanks, Thomas. And yeah, you mentioned the marketing materials that are available. It's so easy to use. Thomas, why don't you just walk us through just how easy it is for you to custom brand, for our dealers to custom brand with their logo and their information, the marketing materials that you've made available to them.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, Kevin, probably the thing I'm most excited about here. I talk to dealers, dealer partners every day, and we've heard loud and clear, you guys are the professional security dealer. You have, obviously deep experience in security, but maybe aren't quite as comfortable with what you're doing with marketing. So we really made a concerted effort to try to come up with something that would be very easy and fast and allow you to have professional marketing in really a matter of minutes. So what we have here is literally a screenshot of how easy it is. It's 4 steps. Upload your logo and contact details, update the live preview, download, and it's ready for use in both print and digital. So there's really a great way for you to make a difference locally and in your market.
Yeah, and I would say if you're listening to this webinar, if you do nothing else, please just go to this Partner Resource Center, do this 4-step process, and download your custom marketing material. I think you'll be really excited to see it, and it'll show you just how easy it is to work with Alula on marketing and everything else you might need. And it's more than just a flyer. Thomas, take us through the entire gamut of all the different marketing materials that are available to our customers.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to take a quick second, like Kevin mentioned. This is just really a cross-section of what we have available and some call-outs. So it's not just printed pieces, but you have everything from sales presentations to more the digital formats of emails and banners, and then print advertisements in a couple different shapes and sizes there. So really nice cross-section between both digital and print. And, in conversations with our base, we've designed the messaging within each of these to really focus around, the upgrade takeover track and then the new install track. So you'll see, consumer-facing language in these pieces where applicable along those lines. And, just note that we're always revising and adding to this content. So one of the features within the Resource Center is the ability to subscribe to content. So this is a great opportunity to test out that capability and make sure that each time we publish something new in there, you're the first to get notified.
Yeah, and we're always taking suggestions. So if there's something that you feel like you could use out there in the market, let Thomas know, let us know, and we will help to custom create that and make it available. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel, no need to spend your precious dollars on designers and on print shops and all those things. We can help you with that. But that's just one of the things that we do as part of our new Alula Pro Partner Program. Thomas, this is also something that's in your zone, so why don't you take us through all the different things that we're doing as part of that program?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Kevin said, this is the Resource Center is sort of the core tenet of the new Pro Partner Program. And really this program is designed to be an exclusive dealer program, which gives our dealer partners access to exclusive access to resources and programs built to make them successful. You can see the different components we have out of the gate there on the left side of the screen. The Resource Center we've touched on, but we've got rebate programs, reporting that gives you kind of insights into where you can maybe improve things business-wise, and then some great reporting and training programs with our customer success team, along with getting rewarded for referring new partners. We know that our current partners tend to be our best salespeople, so we want to make sure that you're rewarded for doing that. But the biggest thing and the thing I'm most excited about just at the highest level with this program is the fact that there's no contracts and no commitments. I know that's not the case across the space. So as Brad mentioned quite extensively, we really look at everything from our partner's perspective. And so we felt like for these initial components here, that was going to be a really important piece of this. And so everything that you see here is available to any Alula partner. And just one other quick note on this, we will also be adding to this as we go here.
Yeah, I'd just like to jump in, Kevin, as you move on to this next slide. The reality is this is probably one of the hallmarks. We're building this for our dealer partners. So as we generate ideas and thoughts about how this can help move your business forward, this is an awesome opportunity for you to put your hand in the air and share with us how to make this work a little bit better for you. So there's been a lot of work that has come together to bring this baseline offering forward, but we've got some ideas about where to go with this next. We just want to make sure that that's congruent with how you all are thinking about what you need best to help drive your business. So this is an offer from me to hear from you to help us shape what this is going to look like, not only in the next 90 days, but also in the next 120 and through the year and into next year. We're building this for our pro partners, so please don't be shy with that.
Yeah, and one of the best places to put your hand in the air and have that conversation is the Alula Pro Forum, which is live on Facebook. I know a lot of you who have attended this webinar in the past have already joined. It's kind of like the conversation we have on this webinar, but 24/7. People are there to answer your questions, and you guys are there to answer each other's questions. So, Thomas, why don't you talk a little bit about this Facebook group?
Yeah, I think that's a good introduction there, Kevin, and thanks for the point there, Brad. We've talked extensively about the Resource Center, so I want to take the next handful of slides here and call out a couple things related to the program specifically. And as Kevin mentioned here, we've got the Pro Forum, and this is really it's actually fast growing, and it's a great way for partners to interact with each other and receive support in real time. And honestly, it gives them exclusive access to the Alula team. I know we have lots of internal team members here participating, and you might even get some feedback from Dave Main, who's our VP of Product. So really a great tool in our partners' tool belts here to help them be successful in their relationship with Alula.
Yeah, it's very rare the company that you're going to have a direct line of communication with the Vice President of Product and where your feedback can actually inform the product roadmap. So it's been great having Dave in that group. We've got some awesome members of our CST team in that group who are available to quickly answer any kind of questions you may have. So it's been a wonderful resource, and it's a great place for you guys to share tips and tricks with your fellow installers on what you're learning in the field. But as Thomas mentioned, there's a number of different aspects to this. So we've also got some pro education that's available to you.
Yeah, so this is really designed around how do we help our partners ramp up and understand our products and features and ramp their teams up as quickly as possible. So here's really a direct line of sight to our customer success team where you're going to have white glove support and training. This is going to be both virtual and on-site. So it's a great way to get a great sense of the Alula products and services and how to sell them and install them. And then obviously post-go live, just a line of sight to continuing support and education as new products and services come online.
And you mentioned it earlier, Thomas, we are launching a partner referral program. Why don't you tell us how we can take advantage of this offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned a little bit ago, historically, current partners tend to be our best salespeople. And so really when we thought about the referral program, we really wanted to reward our partners for talking to their peers and referring their peers here. So it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. So the new pro needs to register as a pro and enroll in the referral program, activate devices on the Alula network, and then the referring pro, the current pro, receives Alula product. So it's literally 3 steps, pretty straightforward, and hopefully provides them a nice way to reward what likely is already happening. So just to learn more at alula.com/partner-referral.
Yeah, I'm going to make that link live in the chat, so you can go ahead and click it, go ahead and sign up, and that way you can get credit for all your friends who sign up and activate products on the Alula network. All right, Thomas, Brad, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's an exciting time for Alula's marketing team and an exciting time to be partners with Alula. I see some questions in the chat. Are you guys able to stick around a little bit and answer them?
You bet, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get to it. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the webinar. I want to say a special thank you to those of you who have joined our Pro Forum just moments ago when I tweeted out the link. Michael Major, Ross Moore, 5 Smooth Stones Audio and Video, Amo, and Omni's IoT Technologies. And for the rest of you who haven't joined yet, you can just look on Facebook for Alula Pro Forum, and we're happy to have you. It's a great place where we answer your questions, and you have access to some of our VPs and get that kind of personal care that we're known for. So speaking of which, I've seen a lot of great questions coming in. Please keep them coming. I'm doing my best to keep up with them and send them over to our questions tab. But we'll start from the top. Brad, you there?
I'm here, Kevin.
All righty. So we're going to give you the first question. It comes from Philip. This question actually is probably better suited for Dave Main, but I'll throw it your way anyway. When will Bat Connect fully support CAD-X?
A good question, Philip. To be clear, giving Dave in line with that question is probably our best option. So we will, if you don't mind, we'll come back to you off the webinar with that answer for you, because I want to make sure that you've got the right information right out of the gate.
Yeah, so we'll reach out to you after the webinar to get that answer, and you can also, of course, post that in that Alula Pro Forum where we've got our CST team, and they'll be able to give you an answer as well. Next question comes from Paul Romanelli. Thomas, you there? I'm going to bring this one over to you.
Sure.
So Paul is asking, he's asking about the partner portal when you do that customized marketing material. He asks, are there any logo requirements that you can share?
Yeah, generally what I would suggest is PNG files tend to be the most universal, and you get the most use out of PNG. And 300 DPI is a good best practice for anything that's going to go into print. So I would start there, and I'm sure I will say this a handful of additional times as we go here. But if you do that and it doesn't work, certainly reach out to me directly. My email address is my first name dot my last name, so thomas.pedro@alula.com, and I can help you make sure that you're getting everything set up properly.
And Thomas, is there any requirements in terms of it having to be a square or having to be a rectangle, like 5 by 5 or 7 by 4, anything like that?
Good question. So no, the setup so that it will center the logo. Obviously, we know that logos are vary widely, so it should center regardless of whether it's horizontal or vertical or whatever the default logo is. And typically in the tests that we've run, it's come out pretty nice, but certainly there's always exceptions to every rule. So in those cases, I'm happy to intervene and help.
Yeah, I've used it myself. It's a very slick program. You don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't have to understand how to use Photoshop, any of those more complicated type programs. We made it easy for you. It's as easy as just basically selecting your file and uploading it, and the computer and the portal does the rest of the work. So that's the goal, is to make it easy for you guys. So I got another question. Thomas, this is also about that Partner Resource Center and those customized marketing materials. It comes to us from Jay. He asks, one question: when customizing the marketing material, you only have 24 characters, including spaces that you can enter. For companies that need a little more space, can that be extended?
Good question. So again, what I would say is there's going to be exceptions to the way that we have this designed out of the box. So in that case, Jay, certainly feel free to reach out to me directly. Again, thomas.pedro@alula.com, and I can make sure that you have the space that you need.
Okay, and I got another question about this resource center coming to us from Tom. I just tried logging into the resource center. Do I need different credentials than Alula Connect? So Thomas, why don't you tell everybody how they can get access to the resource center?
Yeah, so Alula Connect should work for you to log in, but we need to make sure that you're set up with access prior to that. So what I would do if you try to log in and are unsuccessful, shoot me an email. Really, anyone on our team, Kevin or Brad, will be able to get you to me as well. But we'll get you set up and then make sure that you're able to get in there.
All righty. Hey, Brad, I'm going to bring this one to you. This is from Thomas Mastriani. Do you have a future doorbell design coming out?
Thanks. Thanks for the question. Actually, we get a lot of questions around doorbell. There's a lot of interest in the market. I was speaking with Dave specifically, and he's got some additional ideas here. Right now, we have our primary option, but we're always looking at additional ways to kind of make that a little bit better for everybody. So not imminent. We don't have anything on the radar yet for that, but I would say stay tuned. Or if you've got any incremental questions about the offering that's there today that maybe we can help you through, we'd be happy to kind of walk through that quickly too. But we're always looking to add where we see opportunities to increase that line and make things a little bit better. So I would say stay tuned, but in the interim, let us engage with you and just walk through the existing doorbell product and see if there's some things that can happen there to solve that whatever challenges you might be running into.
Brad, and to that point, Carrie Mantari has a question about doorbell. Carrie asks, your doorbell camera has no way of updating firmware. Is there going to be an easier way to keep devices running smoothly?
Yeah, getting a lot of good product questions, actually. I would love, if it's okay, Carrie, if we can come back to you on what that looks like for you, so that makes more sense. But we are, firmware is an important part of our solution, so any chance that we get to deploy that capability, we will do that most certainly. So, Kevin, if you wouldn't mind grabbing her name, we'll come back to you right after the webinar with some more information around that. Good question, though. Thank you.
All right, Carrie. Yeah, we'll make sure to get to your question. We'll get in touch with you personally. But in the meantime, you can always go to the Alula Pro Forum on Facebook. If you ask your question there, we've got multiple people who will run down the answer for you. And that way, your fellow installers will benefit, and we will all be on the same page with it. So real quick house cleaning, Ron Abney, he mentioned that he was having some trouble with audio and is wondering if there's going to be a recording later or something. Yes, sorry for you, those of you who had some audio troubles earlier. Hopefully we were able to work that out with the call-in number. But for anybody who continued to have audio problems or who just wants to hear the beginning of the presentation that they may have missed, this will be posted online within 24 hours, and it will be at alula.com/webinars. and I'm going to go ahead and post that right now in the chat so that you guys can click through to it and bookmark it. So it's there right now. So that's where you're going to be able to find it, and I think you'll also probably get an email after this that will let you know about that. I see Adam Karshner, will there be a recording of this webinar available? So yes, we've got that taken care of for all you guys. So
Kevin, can I add one other thing really quick there?
Please do, Thomas.
Yeah, so just note, guys, that all of the webinars also live within the new Resource Center. So a couple different ways you can access, but the goal for us is that you guys spend more and more time in there, and so we want to make sure that you can get to things that you can get to outside the Resource Center as well. So note that we'll also have it available within the Resource Center.
That's a good call out, Thomas. That Resource Center is really your one-stop shop where you're going to find everything you need from Alula, including the webinars, including training documents, technical documents, videos to teach you on installs. So if you're looking for it, it's going to be there. So make sure you check that. And then if you can't find it, reach out to Thomas or myself, or check out the Pro Forum on Facebook, and we'll make sure you get what you need within 24 hours. Okay, let's see. The next question, Brad, Richard Metz is asking, he's saying a flyer for the 3G sunset and upgrade would be nice. Either a 1/3 page or a trifold that can be easily included in an envelope. Looks like he's looking for some end user content on the sunset. Brad, do we have any of that stuff in the works?
Yeah, I love that question, Kevin. Thank you. We've already started on some consumer-facing materials specifically for Sunset, and I'll tell you what we've seen is a few of our partners are getting out of the gate with a great upgrade story, helping their customers understand the incremental functionality that's enabled to them as a partner of theirs. And we're building materials to help tell that story. So I know that Thomas has already got a few things in the queue. But I love the suggestion specifically on what you might be looking for. That language as we move into the sunset for consumers is so important. They just don't necessarily have the insight that our partners do as to why things are happening, and ultimately making sure they understand, what's changing, why it's changing, and what they need to do to ensure continuity across their systems, and also take advantage of the new features. It's a great opportunity to upgrade the way through the sunset. In fact, we'll do more on this specifically. So maybe that can be a separate webinar that we tee up for future, because I think that's a really, really hot topic. Thomas, anything that you want to add to as you think about the list of materials that you're working on right now?
Yeah, for sure. So what I would say is, and thanks for the feedback there. What I would say is we actually do have a number of upgrade-focused resources available right now. I know off the top of my head there's email content in there, as well as both print and other digital options. So maybe not specifically calling out Sunset, which it tends to not be maybe as consumer-facing anyways, but definitely we have things around the upgrade, modernize message, which I think aligns real nicely with Sunset.
Yeah, and if you are interested in Sunset, several webinars about Sunset available on Alula.com. And our own Russell Vail will have a column about how to market and sell to your customers around the Sunset, which will be appearing in either the March or April issue of Security Business. We'll also have that available on Alula.com/news once it goes live. But yes, Sunset is a very great opportunity for marketing to your customers, upselling them on video services, modernizing their system with a slimline touchpad and getting them away from those old keypads that they may have on the wall to give them full interactive control of their house. So, yeah, Sunset is a great opportunity, and do not sleep on it. Next question, Brad, let me bring this one to you. It comes from David from Annixter, and he's asking if we're currently working with a Canadian marketing team. What's our plans for Canada?
Yeah, I don't. The Canadian marketing team, I would love to understand a little bit more about that. That context would be helpful, I think, to the question. But we have definitely opened up more of our resource and more of our development to focus specifically in Canada. We've got a number of conversations happening there right now. So I'd love to know a little bit more about the team that you're working with, because that may be an opportunity for us to come alongside and maybe add some assistance as well. But we are definitely getting a lot of interest from Canada and developing some additional solutions for that market as well. Some that's available right now with our new cards, our radio cards, and other stuff is still in the works. So great question. We see Canada as a very rich market for our partners and us, and eager to do more there. So if there's a little follow-up that we want to have afterwards, I'd love to have that conversation.
Sounds good. I know we have a great relationship with Annixter, so please have your marketing team in Canada reach out to us. We're always interested in those opportunities. Let's see. We've got another question coming in from Terry. I'm going to send this one over to you, Thomas, because it's asked you in particular. Is Thomas available during business hours to answer questions on the portal?
Absolutely. Definitely don't hesitate, business hours or otherwise, to send me an email. And generally, you're going to hear a response back from me within 24 business hours. But yeah, definitely always available. I mean, the goal is to get as many of our partners accessing in and using it, so I will do my best to make sure that happens.
Yeah, and that email address is thomas.pedro@alula.net, and I just put it in the comments. If you guys want to write that down, keep it handy. Anything that comes up, just shoot him an email. He is very responsive. Let's see. We've got a question from John Prince. Brad, I'm going to ask you this one. John's asking, I'm new to Alula. How can I get someone to contact me about the Pro program? I'm very interested.
John, awesome. We would love to talk to you today about that. So I'll find out specifically who you've been working with, and we will get connected today to give you some more information specifically about the program and how to take advantage of some of those elements that we walked through today. But that'll be we'd love to have that conversation with you today. So stay tuned on that. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, and for those of you out there, if you just go to alula.com, you'll see at the top right of the screen, there's a sign up to be a pro. So that's the first step. That's the easy step to get into the program. You'll see a star that says Become a Pro. Just click on that. There's a little bit of information to fill out, and then we'll get in touch with you and make sure that you have access to all those great perks that come with being an Alula Pro. Thomas, speaking of which, we got a question from Marcus Richardson. He's asking, are there any plans for welcome emails to end user customers with login info, etc.?
Yeah, certainly. We touched on this a little bit throughout the presentation, but a key focus for us this year is increasing the amount of content and user specifically content for our partners. So definitely in the works are things like welcome emails and other things to help make the ultimately onboarding of new accounts for our dealer partners streamlined and easier. So one of the things that I would call out here is there's the ability to favorite and subscribe to information within the Resource Center, and there's a couple different guides available to give you direction on how to do that. But the great thing about that is every time a new content is posted in that zone, you will get notified, so you're not going to miss anything. Great way for you and our partners to stay informed on the new resources really in real time. So if you have any questions or issues with that, definitely reach out to me.
All righty, we've got a question from Randy asking, can you put a logo in the Alula app? So I'm going to take that one to you, Brad. Talk about how we're able to white label that app for our customers.
Yeah, you bet. This is a continual development for us as we go. We're bringing more and more branding capabilities to the app, but today you can absolutely add the logo inside of that app, where it'll come out on some of the slide out screens, and you can access that right. I believe it's right through Alula Connect. I'll have to check on that. But that functionality is there today. It's frankly, it's one of the things that I think is really important about what being a partner with Alula is. We're really less interested in our brand to your customers, and more interested in getting your brand in front of your customers and making sure that contact is there. That local presence is such an important thing to developing your business, and we see that, and we're working really hard to enable that wherever we can. So a lot of the people that we end up competing with in the space don't necessarily look at it that way, and I think that's a very important part of the story, and any chance that we can get to help propagate that for you to your customers is something we're interested in. So that local presence really can be converted into trust quite quickly, and that's something that some of the big national sort of competition that you may run into, whether it's Google, it's Amazon, they're not going to be able to do that, and we want to make sure you've got the chance to do that as best that we can. So great question. I love that, and we're firm believers that your brand is most important when connecting with those consumers.
Speaking of white labeling, we've got a question about it from Raleigh. I'm going to take this one to you, Thomas, because it's something I've been hearing you talk about for the past week or two. Raleigh asks, any plans for producing a video where we can upload our information like the other print digital material, so a white labeled video?
Great question. And the answer there is yes, with a bit of an asterisk. So we have a project in queue to really whole-scale update our video content for our partners. So that will be coming online here in the coming months. As far as being able to add branding within the resource center, similar to what we have in place today, that's definitely on the table. I would say as of right now that's not going to be part of it, but I would very quickly add to that we are more than happy to work with you to make that happen. We'll design the videos in such a way, either way, that it will be easy to do that, and are happy to kind of coach and guide you through the process if the functionality doesn't turn out to exist within the resource center itself.
Yeah, it's certainly a little more complicated when you're looking at moving pictures to be able to get a logo in there, but there's a couple things we're going to be able to do. We're going to be able to put your logo on the front and the back end of it as a bumper, and the material in between is not going to be Alula specific, and so therefore it will have the effect of basically being able to white label that video with your app, and we can even do stuff where we overlay the app in the bottom left so that it's going to be there during the entire duration. So yeah, we've heard from you guys. We know you guys would love to get some video content. We've got some that's available right now. Take a look at it in the Partner Resource Center. If you're looking for advice on ways to use that or ways that you could easily add your branding to it, just reach out to me, kevin.hoffman@alula.net. I do a little video in my spare time, and so I'm happy to help with those requests. All righty, we've got a question from Thomas. A little open-ended, so Brad, I'm going to take it to you. Thomas is asking, how does all of this compare with Alarm.com?
All right, listen, Alarm.com, they are certainly somebody that we compete with. We think that they do a great job with their materials. We're more interested, like I was talking about a little bit earlier, in being able to share your brand forward. And it's important to us that you are able to maintain some of that independence that you may have. You don't necessarily want to look like another Alarm.com dealer, and we think that we bring that opportunity for you. If you're familiar with some of their offerings, you'll see they try to stay focused in print materials. I've seen certainly some HTML, and they do a good job. And we're busy. Actually, we're extremely busy in producing a lot of new material specifically around some of these opportunities like we were talking about on Sunset that, well, I haven't seen a lot of that from them, but, they do a great job. I think we do a great job, and I'd love to, we were talking about a little bit earlier, understand some of the things that maybe you'd like some help on, whether it's the actual materials or maybe even how you put those materials into play. Sometimes, if you've got the right materials, it's one thing, but understanding how best to use them and how best to position that message, well, that's where you win or lose. And that's, I think, one of the things that our marketing effort brings to the table that maybe others don't, is helping you think through what those marketing opportunities might look like and how best to deploy. Certainly some of the most traditional methods that have been used to get us to this point aren't going to work the way they used to, and we've got a view of that. I certainly have a background in the digital marketing space, as does Thomas and a number of the folks from our team, and we'd love to have that conversation with you about what's working, what's not working, how should I be working with my existing customers versus net new customers. Those are really deep and wide conversations. We'd love to at least share some of our insights with you and let you leverage that as well as the materials that you'll find out in the portal today.
Yeah, and Brett, I would just quickly add to that we do have a section within the portal that is dedicated to exactly that. So it's a marketing education section. Again, we know we want to keep you guys as focused on your core competency of, being the best security provider you can be, and we want to come alongside you and help you as best we can. And so there's and it will be growing over the coming months, but there's already some nice content, to Brad's point, around digital marketing and some things to think about there. I know I was looking at some things, and it looks like some of the Facebook pieces that we have out there are getting some traction. So again, take a look at what's out there, and then if you are interested in making sure you stay up to date on what we have available for you, make sure you subscribe to the content, and you'll get notified every time we publish something new out there.
Okay. So, Thomas, follow-up question to you from Brian Beasley. Looks like he's having some trouble. Can't seem to sign into the partner portal with my existing Alula credentials. Why don't you repeat for everyone out there the best way that they can troubleshoot that?
Yeah. If you're unable to log in out of the gate with that information, just email me, Thomas@pedroalula.net or .com. Either will work. Or partner@alula.com, and I'll make sure that you're able to access.
David has a question. Do you have a LinkedIn forum? So this is in relation to our Facebook forum. I can field this one. David, we don't yet, but that's quite a good idea. So I will do some investigating into that. And as soon as we get it started, we'll make sure that you're included in that. So thank you for asking that question.
Hey, Kevin, I'll jump on that too.
Question from John. Does everyone that works for a dealer's company have access to that Partner Resource Center?
Yes, absolutely. So if obviously there's a couple different ways that can happen, either via shared login with the company Alula Connect account, or if individual ones are work better, certainly reach out to me and we can make that happen.
Okay, Brad, here's a question, probably a well-timed question from Ross Moore. Do you have a firefighter, a device that listens for smoke detectors?
Hi, Ross. Another great product question. I would love to actually engage a couple of different members from CST and or the product team to kind of help work through that one. That's certainly more germane to something that I think that they can get you a sharp answer with quickly. So, Ross, if you wouldn't mind, we'll follow up directly with you right after this and either get you directly in touch with somebody from those teams or give you a ring back if we've got your number and kind of walk through that real quick.
And sorry to pick on you, Brad, but I got another product question from Brandon. Are you going to do a battery-powered camera?
I referenced this earlier. Dave and I were just kind of speaking about what that was going to look like, could look like. I know that there's some investigation that's happening right now and what that potentially could be. There isn't anything that we're releasing right now, but certainly something that we're considering. So I love knowing that the interest is out there. And I'll just ask you to stay tuned on that one, and we'll be sure to come back directly to you as we get some more information available to what that potentially could look like.
Yeah, and I know from talking to others internally as well that one of the main things that we're looking at there is we want to make sure that the battery life is significant. We don't want you guys having to run back out to the site in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, roll the truck and have to waste your time. So we're making sure we get a good product that's not going to be an inconvenience. So that's why we're looking at a number of different solutions in that area. So when it comes to market, we will be sure that it is battle tested and ready for you guys. Let me ask you another question, Brad. Coming to us from James Harrison. What is the cost to join the Pro program, and is there a monthly service fee?
Yeah, great question, James. There is no cost. There is no monthly service fee. We have built this initial set of components for everybody, and we think that's really important. We don't want there to be barriers to you to take advantage of some of the things that we're bringing to market today. So everything that you're seeing, everything that we spoke about today is available to anybody that is part of the Pro program. And we'll continue to advocate for that and bring new items that we can add to that, but there is no cost there for you, James.
Yeah, Thomas, anything you want to follow up with about that?
No, I would just second kind of what Brad said, that we feel like it's important for the components that we have out there now to be available to all our partners as soon as they're Alula partners. We want to give them the best chance to be successful, and we really feel like these things will help do that.
Yeah, we certainly understand the question. We know that some of these same programs in space from other providers do charge you guys money, and that's not what we're about. So as they said, we wanted to make this available to everybody. So all you got to do is sign up. You'll get access to those great Pro resources as part of our support for our customers. Brad, question from John. What's the Alula USP when compared to the Alarm.com platform?
Yeah, great question. So when we look at what we're bringing to market, we want to bring you a solution that helps keep you ahead of some of those technology curves. And when we were designing our solution, it was important to us to be able to innovate both on the hardware and the software side, which means we can move really fast and we can solve a lot of problems. And that is probably one of the things that I hear most from our partners today. They've got a single sort of all-in-one option here with Alula that's pretty unique in the space. We're certainly the only one that's dedicated to our partners that brings that to market. And frankly, like I said, it allows us to move very fast. So whether we're making changes to the user experience from the mobile app to the touchpad, and making sure that it's consistently speaking to the hardware that enables those services, that's something that having all those things under one roof really allows us to do well. And I would say far and away, that's the one that I hear the most from our partners. One of the things that they really appreciate about what we're bringing to market.
And we just got a quick follow-up from Philip. He says battery cameras are not a good idea in his opinion. So we'd love to host that debate on the Pro Forum, hear what you guys have to say about battery cameras that you've seen in the field. There's obviously some pluses and minuses, and Philip sounds like he's had some thoughts around that. Also
That's
up on
great,
the camera. Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in on that, Philip. That's great.
We've also got Tom talking about cameras. I would like an IP wedge camera, PoE. Is that coming? Do we know about that, Brad?
I can feel Dave wriggling in his seat from here. He's working on some things, everybody, and I'm not in a position to say that we're going to be bringing out a bunch of new cameras. Just know that we are constantly sort of scanning the environment of what might be available. And I guess I will say your feedback is incredibly important with the choices that we're making. So I appreciate a lot of the questions that are coming from the product side. It is, frankly, how we learn and can produce the fastest for you. So that feedback, whether you're sharing it here on the webinar, you're sharing it in our user forums, or even directly reaching out on LinkedIn, I get a lot of that in email. So please, that's a great way for us to stay connected with you, and one of the things that we think is very important in the relationship and our partnership. So thanks for those questions, and we'll have to come back with more on the cameras, it sounds like. We're getting a lot of interest in that zone, so that's great.
Yeah, it sounds like Brad LaRock just volunteered to be your connection on LinkedIn. So jump on LinkedIn and send him an invite. Sounds like he's accepting new entries.
There you go. Thanks, Kevin.
We've got a question from Richard Metz. It would be nice to have an email list of who to send emails to for different subjects and questions. Richard, that's a great idea. That's something we've been thinking about internally, something we may be working on. In the meantime, feel free to send your any questions you have to alula@marketing.net, or I'm sorry, marketing@alula.net, and we will make sure to route it to the correct person for you. I think we already addressed
Thomas,
this one.
That would be sorry, Kevin. Thomas, that would be a really easy thing for us to put into the Resource Center as well. So let's after the call think about how we can kind of make that easy.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Brad. So now another question from Ron. How do I update the dealer info within the Alula app? Brad, do you have an idea on how to do that?
It depends on what app we're looking at. But for me, I've been in through Alula Connect, and I'm updating the info via that functionality. If that's not working for you, I'd love to get you connected with CST so you can walk through that together so they can sort out which portion you're trying to update there. So right after the call, we'll get you connected with our customer success team, and we'll walk through what that looks like for you.
Okay. Question from Thomas Mastriani. Is the platform Control4 compatible? Brad, do you want to field this one?
I'm not sure if I followed that question specifically.
I can take
compatible.
it. So,
okay.
Control4 is an automation platform. We've gotten this question in previous webinars. Yep. And so I know that Dave in the past has talked about this. We have talked to Control4. There are some great people over there. So there may be an integration in the works. I know that we're at least talking about it. It currently is not, but we have definitely heard from you guys that you do like the Control4 platform. So we're talking to a lot of different providers and looking to do as many integrations as we can where they make sense. Here's a fun question from Richard. I'm going to send this one to you, Thomas. The presentation folder you show on the present screen, is that available to order from you?
It is not currently, but as you've heard us all say throughout this session, we're happy. If you have a use for it, reach out to me, and I can work with you to make that happen.
Yeah, so it's back when it comes to be back to school time. If you want to send your kids off with the Alula folder and Trapper Keeper, we may be able to help you out with that. So yeah, that's I'll tell you, that folder, what you're looking at there, is part of our welcome kit for new dealers. So anybody who's signing up, we're going to be sending that folder, and there's materials out to them. There's some, you can see in there, there's a brochure for the end user around our touchpad. There's a doorbell brochure in back of that. There's also some materials in there about how to reach your salesperson and how to access the CST team. So all that material is stuff that we have available. So if it appeals to you, feel free to reach out. We'll get a copy out to you in the mail. Thomas, you're going to have to help me out with this one. Ron Perry is saying that clicking on the branding tab does nothing. Is he talking about something within the Partner Resource Center?
I think he had asked a question. He had asked the question earlier on the Alula app and branding it for dealers. So I think this was a follow-up question to that. And certainly, Ron, we will make sure that we get you connected with someone that can answer that question.
Got it. And then Frank is saying that he's still waiting to get access to the dealer portal. So that's Frank Solomon. Maybe you could reach out to him right after this webinar is done.
Absolutely.
And Brad, Tom asks, on the Pro sign-up page, what do I enter in the sales team field? The list of names appears in the drop-down.
Yeah, the list of names is, I think the list of names is appearing for, is that what he's saying?
Yeah, he says there's a list of names in the drop-down under sales team. And I'm looking at it right now. It has the names of all of our different RMAs, or our RSMs, our regional sales managers. So it's got Andre and Chad and Daryl and Deanna. So what you would do there is you would select the name of your regional sales manager. I can see that people may not know that yet if you're new to Alula. So we'll take a look at that and make sure it's a little bit more intuitive. Figure out exactly what that field is doing there and whether we can make it a little bit easier to understand. Thank you, Tom, for pointing that out. Let's see. This is a pretty long question from Sam. So I'll read this to you, Brad, see if you can follow this one.
Okay.
When adding a BAT Connect or BAT LTE, we can put someone online as long as they have downloaded the app. And of course, we have provided all the customer information, including master code with Wi-Fi information. We should be able to allow that customer to actually use the device if it is connected to a panel remotely. Obviously, the only thing the device would be using would be Wi-Fi or cellular, if not plugged into a network. Am I making any sense here? I'm just trying to avoid a complete startup on the job site if I can. Getting all of the data necessary and some of the preliminary NBC programming done while allowing them to test drive an off-site system remotely. So how would you handle that, Brad?
Yeah, I think I great. That's the record for one of the longest questions. That's great. But Sam, I think I understand where you're heading. I'd love to connect real quickly, Kevin, with Emilio on that. He might be able to walk us through what our options look like there. Emilio is one of our, if you've been out to our user group, there's a great question out there. Emilio's quick to respond to that, but I think I'd love to just quickly connect with him on that to make sure we get Sam going the right way.
Got it. We've got an update. Richard Metz says that he was told that Control 4 would be available in third quarter 2020. So we can check on that, see if that's still actionable, but good to hear. Let's see. We've got a question from Damien. This is, again, a bit technical, but I'm going to throw it your way, Brad. We'll see what we can do with it. On the video doorbell, is there any foreseeable process to have it dynamically search for the Wi-Fi channel? It seems when the Altus One has interference on a channel, it finds the best alternative channel, which loses a doorbell video.
Again, let's, if you don't mind, let's connect with Corey. He heads up most of the work around the video doorbell. I'd love to brush this question past him real quick and see if we can help add a little bit of clarity there for you. Kevin, I'm sorry to ask. Can you just take down his name and we'll go reach out to Corey right after this?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let's see. Brian Beasley asks, Brad, where might we find a compatibility list of Z-Wave devices?
We let's see. I'm thinking back through the catalog. A catalog certainly will demonstrate some of the compatibility that's there today, and I believe that sheet is also available in Knowledge Base. I'll have to check that for sure, Kevin, unless you know offhand. But we will absolutely get you the list that's published today and share that with you either from Knowledge Base or even from the catalog, the digital file from the catalog. So stay tuned on that. We'll route that back to you.
Yeah, Brian, I know it's online. I've got my email in my email box from you, so I will reply to that right after this webinar. I'm just looking online really quick to see if I can find it on the website. Finding on the Z-Wave compatibility list here in our knowledge base. So let's see. Yeah, so I see where it is in our knowledge base. So I'll look into that, and I'll get back to you right after this webinar. We'll make that list available. Let's see. Why don't we? Looks like a last question here from Brandon, and I'll toss this one over to you, Thomas. He's asking: Are we going to? Is Alula going to help generate leads for dealers?
So that's a good question, and I would say, Brandon, you're not the first person to ask that. This is, as we think about ways we can continue to help our partners on the marketing zone, that's definitely something that we've talked about, but as of right now, it's not on the roadmap. But what I would say is, I think a lot of the resources that are out there should help with that, and certainly, my role is designed to try to help consult in those in conjunction with those. So hopefully there's a nice happy medium there.
Great, and that's going to have to do it for us today. We're at our time. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. Brad, thank you for being with us. And of course, thank you to all of our partners there in the field who make these webinars so lively and so interesting for us as well. We've got some follow-ups to do. We'll be getting in touch with you all. And if you have any other questions, you can call 1-888-88-ALULA, or partner-specific questions about the portal, please reach out to partner@alula.com. Thank you all, and we will see you on the other side.